welcome to the University of Kent's Centre for Journalism Virtual Open Day. I'm Louisa Britton, the news editor at KMTV, and during the next hour or so we'll be talking to staff, students and graduates of the department to find out more about the university's approach to preparing for a career in multimedia journalism. This is an interactive session, so you can ask your questions to the Centre for Journalism team at any time during the live stream, and we'll make sure all those questions are answered by members of the team before we finish. But first, I'd like to introduce the head of the Centre for Journalism, Ian Reeves, who's been at the department since its inception and joins me now. So Ian, tell us a little bit more about what this virtual Open Day is all about.
Well, we recognise that this is such a busy time for students and their families who are thinking about applying for their university courses, and sometimes the timetable for our physical open days here on the Medway campus and down on the Canterbury campus just don't fit in with their plans. And so what we wanted to do was kind of throw the Centre for Journalism's doors open in a virtual way to those who are interested in exploring more around studying here and perhaps a career in journalism, and so that's why we're here. From a very diverse set of backgrounds from the UK and internationally, who were interested in a career in journalism, and make sure that there were no kind of barriers in the way to them being able to realise that ambition. And we were going to give them a degree level training, but also the professional craft training that they were going to need for a flourishing career in the industry.
Absolutely. And how successful do you think the Centre's been in achieving those aims?
Well, you won't be surprised that my answer is I think we've been extremely successful, and that we've got loads of people who we're going to be hearing from tonight who are essentially testament to that. Who came to us with an idea that journalism was for them, and who are now flourishing in careers literally all around the world. And that really is the greatest measure for us, is bringing people into the profession and letting them fly.
And what journalism courses do you actually offer at the Centre?
Our 3-year undergraduate programme. We followed that with a 1-year taught master's programme, which you know all about because you took it yourself. We also have an international programme, which is for students coming from around the world who who don't need that professional accreditation, that UK professional accreditation, but still want to benefit from the very hands-on, practical vocational training that we give here. We also now have a year in journalism programme, so that's for students from other 3-year degrees on the University of Kent who want to add an extra year to get their professional qualification. And we have a number of joint honours programmes that run down on the Canterbury campus, where they get a taster for journalism alongside their main degree. And then we're launching this new degree programme in television and digital video production, more of which we'll hear about later, which starts in 2020.
Absolutely, a huge array of programmes there. Thank you for that, Ian. Now, the latest class of BA and MA students from the Centre for Journalism graduated this summer following a Centre for Journalism tradition. Many of them had landed jobs before their graduation ceremony and had to ask for time off to come to the ceremony at Rochester Cathedral. So what did they make of their time at the University of Kent?
The most important thing that I've learned at the Centre for Journalism is how to be confident.
Don't stop pursuing the story.
The most important thing I've learned at the Centre for Journalism is how to become a better writer and really think about the stories I'm telling and the people in the centre of the story.
See this crew of just passionate people who really care about the craft.
You can walk around the building and you know people in the corridors, and the staff know you, and they know what you're up to, and they know what you want to become, and it just feels like everyone here is behind you and that they want you to do the best that you can possibly do.
3, 2, 1, go!
So if you're tuning into this, you might already be a keen writer and storyteller. You might have a blog, make YouTube videos about your hobbies and interests. And I'm joined by Director of Education Rob Bailey and 2019 Centre for Journalism graduates Emma Ray Woodhouse and Brad Harper to talk more about how the centre can turn your passion into a career, I suppose. Thanks very much, all three of you, for joining us. Rob, tell us a little bit more about how important it is to be a storyteller in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the kind of person we're looking for, the kind of person we're hoping is tuning in tonight, is a curious person, I suppose in every sense of the word, but they have some kind of passion, some kind of interest, whether that's in politics or whether that's in music or sport or fashion or whatever, and they want to tell stories about that and they want to consume stories about that. And they'll come to us, and as you've just heard from some of our graduates, that amazing video that they shot on their graduation day, what we can teach them is how to take that curiosity and give them the confidence to then explore it. Go out there and really, really get under the skin of a subject and turn that into amazing stories that they want to tell.
You did the MA at the CFJ as well. How have some of the skills you learned here helped you?
Well, it gets you out there straight away. I mean, I think one of the first sessions we had was going out, I think we ended up going to Asda, and we ended up getting a story out of that. And understandably, people are nervous when they first talk on the phone, which is one of the key skills we sort of learn here. And I think getting on the phone, getting out there and getting stuck in was one of the most important skills we were taught here, and that has really carried over into my job, and I presume your job as well.
And more specifically, what are some of the skills that students at the CFJ will learn?
So, as you've already heard tonight, it's important our relationship with the National Council for the Training of Journalists, who teach how to gather news, how to do so ethically, how to go out and interview people, how to attend a council meeting or attend a courtroom and to come away with an accurate set of notes and an idea of what the story is of what you've just seen. And everything that we do is essentially about that practical engagement, getting out there, meeting people, witnessing events, and then coming back and turning that into some captivating copy, television or whatever. And
Emma, do you think that the centre's quite good at helping you specialise? Obviously you work in TV now, and Brad, you work at the papers. Do you find that you were able to kind of specialise in one type of media?
Yeah, one of my favourite things about the centre was that option was there to specialise in anything. You know, if you want to go into radio, do it. You want to go into TV, do it. Papers, magazines, the options are there. I chose to go into TV and broadcast, but that's also got a digital side to it too. And I managed to do that because of what I learned, and then I could apply that to anywhere I want. I got to try it all and pick my favourites. So.
And Brad, how about you? How did it help?
Well, I'm a huge fan of print and online journalism, and and human interest stories. I'm a huge fan of those. And definitely with Rob's help, that helped me go towards that, something I specialised in and really enjoyed doing. And was really allowed to thrive here doing my human interest story. So yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like we've had a nice insight into how the CFJ's helped you with those journalism skills as well. Thank you all three for joining us. Alfie, what are some of your tips for people trying to break into the industry, I suppose?
I'd say you just have to be confident and you just have to put yourself out there. It's the same with a lot of things, I suppose, that you have to be willing to do things that you might not be comfortable with necessarily, or might not be familiar with. You just have to be willing to. I suppose a big part of journalism is talking to people and making connections, and journalism as a career relies heavily on knowing the right people and knowing people in different professions, not just journalism. And so I think knowing the right people, being willing to meet people or step out of your comfort zone, and also to just start whenever, even if you're just at uni, start writing, or if you want to, start a YouTube channel or a podcast or whatever, you can do it all, especially here at the Centre for Journalism, because you have all those facilities and resources available to you.
Absolutely. And Angela, you teach reporting and writing. More specifically, what does that involve?
Well, it kind of involves everything, really, going from the first time you get sent out to do a vox pop, how to go out and interview the members of the public, right up to crafting quite big stories, involved stories that involve speaking to different people, and then just applying your mind to it, really, sifting out what's the truth there. So we teach a lot of the practical skills, and also a lot of skills that are about the thought behind it, if you like, so that we want to be ethical, we want to be truthful, and so we kind of putting things through a bit of a sifting process, if you like, distilling it into what you see on the paper or hear on the radio.
Well, some of those multimedia skills, I'm sure they come in very handy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the things that sets this course or this centre apart from other courses is the fact that you do radio, TV, print and online. You get to specialise in everything. So when you step out into the workplace after you graduate, you can say, right, well, what do I want to do really? Because I have so many options here, and I now work in what's essentially radio or audio, and I have all the skills. Obviously, we use different software, but all the skills that I sort of have, I got from here, from creating radio packages or when I did my project and things like that. So everything, all the skills that you learn here are transferable over to the workplace really easy.
Thanks for watching.